What's up YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, I'm gonna teach you exactly how to analyze the recruiting market. All right guys, my name is Ben Nader. If you don't follow me already, I do videos on entrepreneurship, business, real estate, investing, software, recruiting, everything of the sort. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, you definitely should subscribe to the channel. You should also be a part of our Facebook group, Recruiter Empire, link right down below this video, and be our first brand new member today. I'd love for you to join us there, and let's get right into this video. All right, guys, so there are four main indicators that go into reading the market when it comes to recruiting and staffing. Okay, I get it. This video already sounds boring, so why should you keep watching? I'll tell you exactly why. Because I'm gonna teach you how to read these indicators in the market, in the economy, so that you can know exactly where, when, and what to recruit for. In other words, this video is gonna make you more money, so stick with me till the end. Now, once you actually understand these indicators and you are fully read in on exactly what they mean, you have power. Okay, you have power over exactly what you do in your recruiting business and how you operate. This is why people say knowledge is power. So I'm giving you knowledge so that you can have power so you can make more money. I didn't get anywhere close to where I am today without doing years of studying and research on the labor market and how it exactly affects the recruiting market. Now, even though there's about 100 different economic or recruiting indicators that you could look at to make decisions, I'm going to give you prime 4 indicators that you can look at to identify what to recruit for, when to recruit for it, how to recruit for it, and how to make better informed decisions that will make you more profit. All right, so indicator number 1 is the unemployment rate. Now, this can be national unemployment, state unemployment, or any state unemployment for that matter. Simply put, this is a percentage number of the people that are able and willing to work, but are simply not working. Now, this percentage is really important to know for us on a month-to-month basis because it tells us, at least on a national or state level, whichever you're looking at, how many people are actually unemployed versus how many jobs there are available. So when we see unemployment being high or low, this tells us what the labor gap is. When we understand the labor gap, we can understand how much clients actually need candidates versus candidates actually needing clients. So this percentage tells us a lot. If I really want to put it in simple terms, this is basically telling us how many candidates are sitting out there on the market right now, available, willing, ready to work, ready to go, but just are not having the right opportunity, or they're just possibly just not landing the right opportunity. But it definitely tells you how many candidates are out there and whether or not pretty much we're in a candidate or a client market. Now, if unemployment is really high, like I would say anywhere from 3-4% and above, and all other conditions in the economy are equal, this is meaning that there is a candidate market occurring, meaning there's a lot of talent out there waiting to be employed. And that means really good things for recruiters because talent is abundant and companies are hiring. So you have a perfect recipe, perfect storm for recruiting. Now, on the flip side, if unemployment is relatively low, meaning let's say it's sub 3% or somewhere near that number, it means it's more of a client market, okay? And I say that loosely because people are always hiring and it's always gonna be a candidate client market, but it means it's more on the client side. So clients could technically be a little bit more picky, a little bit more choosy, right, on what they want. It's sort of a beggars can't be choosers type deal on either side. But if unemployment's super low, it does mean that it favors the client more. But either way, recruiters win on either side of the coin just because it means that we can pivot in any direction we want, find the best talent for the best sectors, and go from there. But these are numbers we definitely need to know. One key factor I wanted to mention is that when unemployment is super, super high and GDP, which stands for gross domestic product, is relatively low compared to standard averages, this means something in the economy overall is off. And that is just not good. We need to figure out what's going on, whether or not there's some sort of economic recession, some sort of economic boom. I don't know what's happening, but the numbers are off and it's telling, right? It's telling of something deeper. Normally, all these numbers are derivatives, right? So you take the surface level number and then figure out what's happening on the inside, right? So unemployment can tell us one thing, but it means 2, 3, 4 other things behind the number. However, unemployment is reported on a monthly basis, and these numbers change all the time. So these percentages are going to go up, down, and it's important not to read too much into anything unless you see something wild like unemployment go from 2% to 8% in a 1 month change. All right, so the second indicator that you definitely want to keep your eyes on is how many jobs created versus how many jobs lost on a monthly basis nationwide. So this number in itself just gives us a really, really good basis off of which to go on how the overall economy is performing nationally, right? Are we doing good? Are we doing bad? Are employers hiring, right? What's going on? Are jobs being created? Are jobs being lost? Are people quitting? Like, what's going on? This number is definitely critical, right behind unemployment, to look at. And you can also pair the two together to get some really good data. But we won't get that complex right now. We'll just talk about jobs creation versus jobs lost. Now, in the past 2 years alone, we have seen the largest labor gap ever in time, in history, right? At one point, there were 10 million available jobs open, ready to be filled, and half of that amount of jobs were people willing, ready, available for work. Now, that particular recipe right there is a perfect storm for recruiters, because if you read into those numbers, right, 10 million available jobs, half of those spots being available and willing, ready people to work, is an amazing opportunity for recruiters, because we have lots of demand on the talent side, right? And we have lots of demand on the client side. So putting 2 and 2 together, who's the broker? Recruiters, right? Hello. Yeah, you can go ahead and get to work and put all those people together and make lots and lots of money. Also, like I said before, just looking at jobs created versus jobs lost is just a good number to look at overall every single month on just how the economy is performing overall, like a barometer. For instance, if in 1 month a lot of jobs are created, like for instance, like 1 million new jobs are created randomly in the month of August, right? That's really, really good. That means great things are happening in the economy. New companies are growing. New companies are opening up. Things are happening, right? Maybe people are spending more money and thus companies are basically just expanding because of that. Like, that's good stuff for the economy and good stuff for you to know based on your recruiting efforts. Now, on the flip side, if we see that job creation or job loss on either side is disproportionately high or low, we need to look deeper into this and we need to find out what the derivative is of that number and why that's happening in the economy. So, like I said, again, these 4 indicators that I'm giving you are 4 numbers that are primary for you to look at, but they are definitely having their own derivatives of a lot of different factors behind them. Like I said earlier, there's 100 different things I can give you, but that would make this video way too complex and way too long. All right, the third indicator that you want to keep an eye on is geographic hot spots. Is it Silicon Valley? Is it the Rust Belt? Where are people moving to? Now, first things first, before you dive into this indicator, I want to let you know that this is something of a slow moving target, meaning this is something to be looked at on an annual basis. This doesn't change from week to week or month to month or quarter by quarter or anything like that. This is more like annual or every 2 years, kind of take a look at this thing as to what's happening, right? And right now, I think pretty much all of you know exactly what I'm about to say, which is the obvious. Everyone's leaving California, right? But what's important to know is, where are they going? So this is a prime example of geographic hotspots, right? So I know for a fact that massive amounts of people are leaving California and they're headed specifically for Texas, right? That's just one of the spots they're going to. They're going to all over the place, but definitely Texas, and more specifically, Austin, Texas. So Austin, Texas has become a very, very hotspot geographically, meaning companies are going to open new offices there, companies will move their headquarters there, and new businesses will just pop up and open up shop there. Now, equally important as to Austin being a hotspot geographically now, it's also noted that they left California. So what's happening in California, right? That's a place you don't want to be. That's a place that you don't want to be recruiting for. California, right? People are leaving California, okay? While that sounds like it might be an opportunity, it's not. It's not an opportunity because people are exiting that space, meaning businesses and industry is soon to follow. Now, in most cases, studying this information, geographic hotspots, early and watching it like a hawk can pay off big time. Because if you know this stuff, if you see this data early on and you can be first to attack that market on the client level and on the candidate side. So if you're still wondering why this is an important economic indicator for the recruiting market, it tells us so much. It tells us where people are headed and where people need jobs. And it tells us where companies are headed, where companies are going to be hiring. So it's as simple as that. Like, it can't really get that much more simple. So Austin, Texas is a hotspot right now. People are definitely moving there. People definitely need jobs there. And companies are definitely opening up shop there. All right, so the fourth economic indicator to take a look at is emerging markets. All right, so when I talk about emerging markets, I'm really talking about industries and niches. I'm not talking about locations or geography. This is an important economic and recruiting indicator to look at because emerging markets is going to change just about every 6 months or so. But the list is going to stay relatively the same, right? So we always look at this list around 6 months, every 6 months or so, just to make sure that we're on par with what's happening, right? There's going to be new industries that come into play. Some of them will fail. Some of them will succeed. Some industries that have been mainstays forever, like healthcare, IT, those will just grow. And we just want to be on top of that factor. We just want to know for a fact that, oh, yeah, that industry is still growing, or, oh, that industry is coming into play. I'm going to take a look at that, right? That is a good factor to keep in mind when you're looking at emerging markets. For instance, just knowing that construction, finance, or tech, for whatever reason, is booming right now is just going to be better business for you, right? Knowing those is just going to be a really, really good set of data for you to be able to play off of, right? You know what niches to attack. You know what markets are emerging. You know what's hot and what's not. So as I always say, it's not exactly wise to be niched down into one specific market, right, or industry. And with that being said, you should definitely hedge yourself and keep an eye on this indicator to understand what's really emerging more than others so that you can be on top of that rather than something else. All right, so now that you have these 4 indicators to look at, it's up to you to keep track of these. It's up to you to how often you want to look at this stuff. I personally nerd out on it. I personally look at this stuff on a daily basis. That's just me because I'm live and die by the data. Numbers don't lie, and that goes the same for everybody. But it depends how much you want to dive into the data. And 99% of recruiters don't dive into this data. Be the 1% that does. You'll get that edge. I made this video just because I want you to get a really good understanding of how the data moves, how the market moves, how to understand the market, and how you can make more money based off of understanding the market. It's all about profit at the end of the day, and the data doesn't lie, and the data reflects how much you make. All right, so if you found value in this video, please go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Definitely be in our Facebook group, Recruiter Empire, link in description of this video, and I will see you guys next time.